Anniversary is today, of course. What was it, 23 years? 24. Um, I was in London during 9/11. It happened when I was working for some Irish company, doing trade work, brick carrying in buildings like hod carrier, they call it. So you pick bricks up and carry them up to the brickies. So I was doing that, and then 9/11 happened. I happened to be just doing a last kind of hurrah trip. I came from, I was living in Belgium for a short time, and then I was coming back to London, or going to London, and I had a friend there, and I had a place to stay. And then 9/11 happened, September 11th, the attack on the World Trade Center happened not too long after that. And that kind of changed everything, of course. And I decided to stay there a little longer than just flying back. I mean, planes were blowing up, planes are getting hijacked. So I go, you know what? I think I'm going to stay here for a while. And I told my family, they thought it was a good idea just to stay there. You know, don't move. My first instinct wasn't to get on a plane. You know what I mean? And maybe it's safer here in London. But anyway, the story I just want to bring up from this stream is that during okay, so I learned about 9/11 Piccadilly Circus, which is a intersection where a lot of billboards, neon, jumbo screens, and all that. There's pubs and stuff. It's kind of like a fun pub area, kind of a crazy Times Square type thing in London. And seeing the Twin Towers, exploding and planes going into them. I go, this is gonna, as they say today, it's gonna kick off. And I go, that's something serious. And I had done a paper on Middle Eastern terrorism of the 70s with Carlos the Jackal and all the hijackings and, you know, all that stuff. So I kind of knew about terrorism, but people have forgotten because this is the 70s. This is like old stuff. We're not worried about that anymore. That was kind of an old, they're not doing that anymore. This is the world's safe. It's all calm now. But so anyway, so I learned about the 9/11 that way in London as an American. Kind of interesting. But a few days later, whenever the next time I was able to, or I was in a pub of some sort, or you know, I saw that people were, they heard my accent and they go, "Hey, you a Yank?" And yeah, and they said, "We stand with you." And I said, "Why? Where are you from? Like, you don't seem to be. Why are you interested?" I was kind of curious. Why are people interested? And George Bush had said, "You either stand with us or you're against us." And people were like supportive, and they're like, "No, yeah, like certain people, let's say." And I asked him, "Where are you from?" He goes, I'm Corsican." I go, "Where the hell? Okay, cool." Anyway, so it felt like there was some support for this, the protect America, protecting Western stuff, and they were like, they knew what was going on, and I go about my week, I guess, and then like a couple days later, I'm traveling across London, and I find a protest in their, let's say Trafalgar Square pedestal. It's like a big monument and pillar, let's call it, and there's a big, well, I think pedestal. You can step up on it. You know, and a whole bunch of people were all over it, crawling all over it, all on the pedestal, all the way up to the base of the pillar. I can't find pictures of this, but I didn't. I just was memory hold, or I just like it wasn't. There's too much going on to. It wasn't important to like find an article, but years and years later, I think I found some sort of one or two lines about it. A lot's gone on since then. But what it what it told me, what it informed me of that event, these jihadists, they were masked up. I saw them more as like a, before that, Palestinian protesters would kind of have that masked up look. I didn't know what that was the uniform of the Islamist. Death to America, death to America. They could have even been burning the flag. I don't even know. They had flags and they weren't respecting them like you would wish, and they were chanting "Death to America" and other stuff probably, maybe even "Death to Britain." Who knows? But they definitely were celebrating, and that was shocking to me. It was like immoral and not cool. But so I was, like I said, I was walking across London. I was probably going to walk across that plaza, and I couldn't get past. That's probably what it was, if I remember correctly. And so I'm confronted with a line of cops, and they're like kind of picketing the area to ring fencing it. There was no other people except me and other travelers walking through, and I started to get angry. Started to boil up a little bit, and I was like, so I just my instinct was like looking at them, and I just started to beeline it towards them, and then the cop goes, "No, no, you're not doing that," and then he might even threaten me with like arrest or I don't know. I don't exactly remember, but he just prevented me from going there and said, "No, we're not doing that." Something like that, and I kind of like, look at them. They probably said something like, "Look at them. You're protecting them, or look, that's." And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, I got it. I understand." So, the police in London and UK, they protect protests, public protests of hate. So that was 2001. Just people in the UK, if anyone ever sees this, um, that's how the police operate in the UK. And then so ever since seeing that protest of jihadists who were being there was a mosque in London that was promoting radical Islam. His name was Chatterjee, I think his name was. He just was handing out flyers to everyone he could, trying to promote radical Islam at this one mosque. I know people in London, and they said they were handed the flyer. Just everyone was getting these flyers, and he was like openly promoting radical Islam. Eventually, that guy got arrested for supporting terrorism in the ISIS era. But anyway, seeing these jihadists on the Trafalgar monument just let me know that there is an enemy of America, and it was apparent that some people hate us, and there's no changing it, or there's no reasoning with them. They are celebrating our death and downfall. So that I saw that like just yards in front of me. So that was something that was useful. So when I came back to America, I was very anti radical Islam, and I was just like, look, I saw it right in front of my face. Americans had seen the towers come down, but they hadn't seen the enemy like right there, yards away. So I'm sure some of those people went to the Iraq war as combatants and fought Americans and British and whatever, um, because it was a magnet for jihadis who wanted to, close ranks with the Westerners. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. That was the 9/11 I had was from London, and it was kind of unique in that I saw the perspective of what America would feel like being in a different country when their country is being attacked, and how some part of the populace in the UK reacted in a way that I was quite shocked. But it was very informative to let me know that there is a lot of the Middle East or the world that, given a chance, they'll celebrate the death of Americans and Westerners.